and welcome to Grandma's house. My name is Mary, but my true treasures call me Blue Grandma. When I think of a grandma, the words that come to my mind are love and nurture. And therefore, I strive to do exactly that, to love and nurture everyone and everything. I look for items that have lost a little bit of their sparkle, and then I'll show you the steps that I'm going to take to make them look glamorous again. Hence the name. So grab some cookies and let's get started. Hello and welcome back. Today we are going to do a vignette cottagecore. Now cottagecore, in my version, or my thoughts, it's very, very similar to the grand millennial style, granny chic, all those kind of things. I think the cottagecore is very, very similar to those. So this little rabbit is going to be my inspiration. This is my jumping off point. And I bought him at Value Village and I paid $2.99 for him. And he looked very cottagecore to me. So that is my inspiration. Now, I did go ahead and paint this. I did try to tape it, but it really, really did not turn out at all. So that footage is lost, and this is already painted. So we're just going to move forward with that. Live in the moment. And my goodness, and my moments change drastically. So we're going to attach some feet to it. The feet right now are still in my elaborate paint booth over there. But to start with, I'm just going to, I want this to look like enamel. So I spray painted it with Rust-Oleum's paint and primer, and I gave it 2 coats. Now I'm not sure if you can see on the camera that it is written here, flowers and garden, and it does have a lip on it. So I'm going to just highlight those with the Sharpie, just to kind of make them stand out a bit, and then I'll make, distress it a little bit so it does look like enamel. And so to go through, and like if you have this tin that I have, I bought from the dollar store. And it came with that raised lettering on it. So that's why I'm just following what they've already done. Obviously, if you don't have that, you don't even have to put anything on here. I think it would look just fine with just making it look like enamel, like with the Sharpie. But there you can kind of get an idea of what I'm doing. So I'm going to go ahead and finish that up, and then I will turn the camera on again. Okay, so now I've got it all complete. I outlined around the top and the bottom, and I did the lettering on both sides. And now to make it look more like real enamel, I'm just going to mark it up a bit and like down the side. And you can just do this however you want. It doesn't have to be exact. There's no, that's the thing about enamel, it's just marked off. Like it just chips off, I should say, not marked off. It just chips off in different areas, so it doesn't really matter how you do it. Whatever look you like. So now I'm done distressing mine to make it look a little more chippy. So I'm going to set this aside because the feet are not quite dry yet. So then we will glue the feet on after I, chip the enamel a little bit as well. Now the next thing is we're going to make a nest. Now I'm making a rag nest. So I didn't cut. I ripped the same material that we used earlier, that we will be putting in as a napkin, doily, whatever you want to call it. So now to make the, oh my goodness, I've got strings all over here, but I do want them because I do want this to look a little frayed. I'm going to have quite a mess to clean up after I'm done. Now to make a cloth nest, what I'm going to do is the same technique that you would use if you were going to be braiding like a rug. And I will show you how to do that. I've cut some strips and they are approximately an inch in diameter, in width, and they're 20 inches long. Now we're going to have, and I have 3 sets, so I have 60 inches, and I think that's going to be enough. I'm not 100% sure. So I've just taped it down to the table, and you just braid it. Not too tight, not too loose, just braid. Just go ahead and braid it. And I want the frayed edges to appear because I think that'll look more realistic. Now when I get to the end of my 20 inches here, I will show you how I'm going to connect the next piece. Now you could go ahead and sew that end if you wanted to. You could sew these pieces together if you wanted to. It doesn't even have to be the same material. Like it can be stretch fabric, whatever kind of fabric that you want to use. Okay, now when you get to the end, you just take another piece. This is how I do it anyway. I take another piece and I'm overlapping it a bit. It's about that far overlapped on the first one. And then I just keep right on braiding. And that will tighten that up as you're braiding. And then that is right into the braid. Now, like I said, if you're not comfortable doing that, you can go ahead and put a stitch in there. You can hand stitch or whatever you're comfortable with. So I'm just going to stitch or braid mine together just because it's the easiest way. When you get to the end of this, I'm just going to go ahead and tie a knot in mine. Okay, now I'm done my braiding, and I did use the 60 inches, and I have a 42-inch long braid. So I'm going to start with, you can start with any end, and what I'm going to try to get closer here so you can see what I'm doing. I've got my hot glue, and I'm just starting to glue it together. Of course, if you were actually making a rag rug, you would sew it, stitch it together. And you could most definitely do that with this as well. But for me, and time-wise, this is just a whole lot quicker. Now this is going to be the bottom of the nest. So I'm just going to glue it. Can you guys see what I'm doing? Just running a bead of glue along the edge and sticking it together. Once you get the diameter of the base of what you want the base to be, you just slowly start gluing it further up, just like a real nest would be. So I'm just starting to move it up, and you'll see here in a minute. And I want some ends to be sticking out like a real bird's nest. Like they're not perfectly formed. There's twigs and bits and pieces that are always sticking up or sticking out. So that is what I'm trying to simulate. And that's why I ripped my material rather than cutting it. I do have a Thrift With Me video coming up, and on that video I went to Value Village, which is Savers in the States, and there was this clock that said home on it. It was about, I don't know, 18 inches long, 24 inches long, about 6 inches high, 8 inches high maybe, and the O was a clock. And I thought, oh, well, that's kind of cute. So I picked it up, and they were asking $6.99 for it. And I thought, oh, that's not even a bad price. And I turned it over, and it was from the dollar store. And at the dollar store, they only wanted $3 for it. And now it was donated to Value Village, and they're asking $7 for it. That's coming up on a Thrift With Me video. I could not believe it. Okay, now I am trying to get rid of all my hot glue strings, and there you can see is a cute little nest which will go into our display. It's got some fringes, some fur, I love fur too. It's got some strings, some material fraying and hanging out, which to me makes it look more authentic. So I'm just going to set that aside for now, let that glue dry, and we'll paint some eggs. Now I've mixed up some paint. This is just chalk paint, and I am using the Folk Art Home Decor chalk paint, and I've just mixed some paint, the apple barrel paint, in with the chalk paint to get some different colors. Now, I did paint one with another paint that was not a chalk paint, but it took like 4 coats to get this one egg. But I love the color, so we're going to use that, but I'm not going to do any more of that color because, well, I guess I could try to mix it with the chalk paint. I do love the color, but it's a different brand, and it's an outdoor paint, so that's actually why I will have one that's that color. I think that'll be good. And I've got my little stand here to stick my eggs on while they dry. Okay, so I've given them all a coat of white. So now I'm just going to give it a coat with the chalk paint. And I'm debating if I should put some vines. I have some vine transfers that I might put on the planter. I'm not sure if you guys can see there's like gray lines. I can see it on my video, and I think it's my lights. So bear with me. Every video will be getting better as I learn how to do this, and as you guys tell me what you like, don't like, whatever. So every video should technically be getting better. Okay, so that's what I'm doing with my eggs, and I'm going to go and check those feet, see if they're dry, and then we can move to the next step. Okay, no, we can't move forward to the feet yet because I'm still painting, and I'm going to paint, but for a candy dish, I am going to paint this mason jar. Now, but I'm just going to use this little jar, and I'm just going to give the whole thing a coat of the white chalk paint. And again, I am using Folk Art Home Decor white Adirondack. Okay, so I've decided that I am going to add the transfer the leaf transfer to my tin. Now, for this one, you just cut it as close as you can to the image. So that's what I'm going to do. Now, typically, you remove the backing, and then we should be able to just stick it on and rub it in place. Where I've distressed it, like where I've made it look like the enamel is wearing off, I don't want the transfer on those areas because I do want it to look like it's taken the whole thing off. So I'm going to have to be a little careful. I'm just going to rip that off because I definitely don't want it where my enamel is. And when you're taking it off, just go slow because when it's not adhered, where you might need to rub it a little more, you'll see it. And you can just put it back in place and rub it some more to make sure it's sticking. Okay, so I'll just quickly show you, I'll get closer up, where I've kind of made it so that the enamel is chipping, taking away the stencil as well. And after this is all done, I will coat it with a polyacrylic so that that will seal in the transfer as well. That's the finished product of that. And so now we are just going to glue the feet on, and I like to use E6000 as the permanent hold, but then just to get it to stay in place until it sets, I do use a little bit of hot glue. So I'm just going to put the E6000 there, like right around the center, and then just a couple dabs of the hot glue, because I only need the hot glue to work temporarily, and the E6000 will be the permanent hold. Okay, isn't it great how this stuff just appears? Like it's not here 1 second and then boom, it is. Everything changes in the blink of an eye. Okay, so now we're ready to start putting all of this together. Almost. I do have to give this and this little flower that we made a couple coats of polyacrylic, and then we will start putting it together. This one, because it's not my style, I will be selling this one, and I sell them on Marketplace, like, what's it called? Facebook Marketplace, or to friends and family on Instagram. You can private message me on Instagram, and I can let you know if it's still for sale, if you're interested. Perfect. That's enough for that one right now. Now, I have to decide where I'm going to put my nest. I think it should go on one side. And then where's my big flower? There it is. I thought that would look pretty on the other. Yeah. I'll turn it around so you all can see it. And now I'm just going to carry on putting stuff in. I just look around, like I just keep adding, moving, tinkering until I like the look. So I like it. I'm going to put in a couple of sprigs of these because nothing says spring to me like these do. I love them. There we go. I think it is perfect. I love it. So I will show you. There. And as I turn it around, okay. Now I'm going to clean this mess up and I'll show you it all together. And there it is. My Easter vignettes. You can see the bunny put a little bow on him. I did move the bow. I moved it further down and I added a little ribbon, a little bow there too. I think it's perfect. I love it. So let me know what you think. That's a wrap. And judging by Phoebe, I need to spend some time tonight brushing her out. I'll brush her out and she'll look exactly the same in the morning. She's just always a hot mess. Oh yes. Until next time, I hope you go out and love and nurture everyone and everything in your part of the world. This is Blue Grandma signing off.